Hello guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video. Now this is my Panasonic M7 VHS camcorder. If you remember a few months ago I took a look at this thing, but I couldn't really test it out because I had no VHS tapes. Well, I've now bought some. I've got 3 sealed VHSs. I didn't particularly want to get brand new ones because I would feel bad about opening them, but these were a very good price, and all the used ones that I could find were mouldy and not worth it, and they would probably break this thing. So I'm only going to open one of these today just to test the recorder to see if it does work. If it does, then I might open these in the future, but for now I'm going to keep them sealed because you never know how much they're going to be worth in the future. Now I don't actually know whether this is going to work because I believe this has been sealed and not used for the best part of 2 decades, so whether it's in a usable condition or not I really don't know. But we're going to take this out of its packaging, put it in here and just give it a bit of a test. Now I don't have a battery for this yet which works, but I will buy one if I know that it records just like it should do. Now before we get on to that, I did turn this thing on this morning just to make sure everything was still working, and well, I'm not too sure whether it is working. The little viewfinder is a sort of black and white little CRT, and when I turned it on this morning it was flickering and I could hardly see what was going on in there. I tried playing back a tape. The tape played back just fine, so the display's not at fault, and then when it went back to recording mode after playing the tape, there was all sorts of strobing and flashing going on the little screen, so I'm not actually sure whether this thing will function or not anymore. It might just be because it's cold. It was in quite a cold place in my house, so it might just need time to warm up, or maybe it is on its way out. Maybe one of the capacitors has gone bad. I'm not really qualified to take this thing apart and take a look, but I'm guessing if we try and record and the recording plays back fine, then this thing still records fine. If the recording which I view is all flashy and bad, then I'm guessing this thing has gone bad and I might need to look at fixing it or replacing it. But first off, let's just open up this tape. I really don't want to open it because of how old it is, but I've got 2 more sealed ones, so what's the worst that can happen? Alright, there we go, the plastic is now cut, so let's peel it all off. This is the first time in about 20 years that this box has been touched, so let's just pull all of this off. There we are, it's now off, and let's take the VHS out of its casing, and there we go, a completely fresh VHS. Okay, so I've just had a quick look at the tape. It doesn't look like it's gone mouldy or anything like that, so I'm guessing it has been stored in quite a nice environment. So all that's left to do is to boot up the camcorder and just see what happens. Now I'm not sure whether it will still be having its little problems, but let's see. I'll have to turn on the power supply. Power supply is now on. Let's turn the camcorder on, and there we go, it is now on. I'll get a close-up of inside at the CRT so you can see exactly what it's doing. Alright, so it's always difficult to film this thing, but you can probably see there is some strobing going on. Now usually the camera picks up strobing that isn't there in real life, but the strobing that it is picking up is actually there in real life, so I'm not exactly sure what is going on with this thing. If I zoom in a bit, you can see the strobing changes a little bit, but yeah, that was not there the last time I used this, so I'm not exactly sure what has happened. But let's just put the tape in, see if it will record anything. I can't really see what I'm recording because of the state of the screen, but let's just see. Okay, so I'm going to press the eject button. It has now ejected. I'll turn that around and let's put this thing in. It just slots in like this. There we go, that's now in. Let's shut it. You can see it's spinning in there. Alright, so let's turn the thing back around. I'm just going to have a look through the viewfinder for a moment. And I'm not really sure what I'm looking for, but it looks like it is now ready to record. So I guess let's just press the record button for a little moment and then see if we can play that back. So the record button is on the front. I'll try and keep this somewhat in frame. I'm going to keep trying to look through the viewfinder while I'm doing this. So I'm now going to press record. It now says record on the screen. Just going to go around a little bit here. Okay, and now I'm going to stop. There we go, I have now stopped recording. Whether that actually recorded anything or not, I do not know. But let's now try and play that back and see if it actually recorded anything which is recognisable. Okay, so there is another close-up of the screen. I'm going to open the playback buttons. It's now going to do whatever it does. And now I'm going to press play and see if it can play anything which is on here. Okay, we've got some static. Let's see if anything else shows up. And it looks like all we are getting is some static, which is interesting. Okay, so that's strange. I've just come off playback mode and just gone back to the normal recording screen, and the flicker has mostly gone away. It is still there, but I can actually see now what the camera is seeing. If I put a freeze frame up of what it looked like before and compare that to now, that is very different. I'm going to try recording something again, and then the strobing has come back and I can hear a distinct noise coming from this thing, a more high-pitched noise, and it's just gone away again. And now it's gone away, some of the strobing has gone, so I think there's something strange going on with this thing. And now I've just tried to record, lots more strobing has happened. What you see on the camera is exactly what it looks like in real life. The camera's not even exaggerating it. That's literally just what it looks like. Just recorded again and all I'm getting is static. There's definitely something up with this thing, but it did seem to be working a couple of months back. I've not done anything to it to make it suddenly die, so this is definitely strange. So this really wasn't what I had intended for this video to be. I genuinely thought that this thing would work and I would be able to film something, play it back, then confirm it was working, and then I would buy a battery and everything else to go with it. This definitely was not planned. I genuinely thought this thing was working, and it did seem to be working in the previous video. I'll put some shots over of it in a functioning state. It's not the viewfinder that's broken, that still works in playback. It's just making some high-pitched noises and yeah, strobing and all sorts of flashing things going on in playback. Just seems to be showing static, which I don't think is good. I think this thing might be dead, and that's actually quite unfortunate. I had plans for this. Later this month I'm actually going away for a few days, and I was going to take this thing with me, try and record some things. I thought that would be quite cool, having the VHS look in the modern times, but doesn't look like that will be happening with this thing. If anyone knows what's up with this, please do let me know, but I'm guessing capacitors or something have gone bad on this thing. It is from the late 80s, so that wouldn't particularly be a big surprise. It's unfortunate, but it wouldn't be a surprise. It probably could get repaired by someone who knew what they were doing, but it would quite severely outweigh the cost of just buying another of these things, and that's quite unfortunate. I really like this thing, and I hoped that I would be able to do things with it, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I think that's pretty much going to be it for this video, unless I can magically make this thing work. I'll try again a bit later. If nothing exciting happens, I won't put any other clips in at the end of this. If something does happen, I'll put an extra clip in, but it doesn't look like this thing is ever going to really work again. I guess I can try playing back that tape on a VHS recorder, see if it did pick something up and Playback's just suddenly broken. I doubt that, because Playback was working fine this morning, so I don't know. I think this project is kind of just dead now. I don't really think there's any point bothering. I could buy another of these for cheap, but is there really any point? It'll probably just be dead also. Most of these things for sale are for spares, not tested, because people don't know how to test them. So was this one. This was not really tested. They tested Playback and that worked, and Playback did seem to work for me, and also it looked like it would actually record, but now it's got some strange symptoms. I don't know. If you do know what this could be, please do leave a comment, but I doubt this thing will work again. So I guess that will be the end of this pretty pointless video. Thank you for watching. I doubt it was interesting in any way, but oh well. I guess this is just what happens with old electronics. So I think that will be it now. Thank you very much for watching. Whether you'll see this thing again or not, I do not know. But thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.